For coming. I'm so happy to see you all despite some very busy schedules. Welcome to Sci QI episode 2. I'm assuming most of you know me by now, but if not, I'm Chris. For the next hour, I will be guiding you through this wonderful journey of knowledge prepared for you. So, yeah, the format of the show is basically just like the real show. The rules are unfair, and so am I. Points are awarded solely on the basis on whether or not I find people's answers interesting, regardless of whether they are correct or even relevant. So, speaking of contestants, let's meet them. So we have Eric Brown. You can say, no. Wait a second, patience. Put it down on the table. Thank you. Alex App. Applause would be good. John Farrow. And Matt Jordan. Now, each of the four of you has been equipped with a noise-making device if you want to stop the action at any time. So Eric goes.
Oh, did I get it? Okay. Yes. It's so much fun.
I know, it's great.
And now it's broken.
I don't think you should.
I have the most complicated one.
Yes. Very nice. Okay, Alex goes. John goes. And Matt goes. Okay, so let's start. Question 1. Now, those of you who were here last year might remember that we started last QI with a music question. We decided to do the same thing here. So I want you to tell me what hit song, okay, was investigated by the FBI on charges of obscenity, only for those charges to be dropped after extensive tests showed that the lyrics were unintelligible at any speed.
Friday.
Creative, but no. Yes?
Anything by Sean Paul.
You'd think so, but no. Unfortunately, I don't have that here. Any other guesses? If not, I have a wealth of clues to give you.
Is it that song, the one that's I'm Blue? And people think it's if I was
I'm
Blue. Yeah.
It's funny you mention that because actually I grew up with that song. Yeah. And I was listening to it just the other day as I was typing this and it brought back so many, but no, the answer is no. Okay, well here, why don't I give you some clues here. So it came out in 1963. Okay. It hit number 2 on the Billboard 100 the same year, and it's still very famous today.
Louie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right, by the Kingsmen. Or actually, the most famous version is by the Kingsmen. So I'm really impressed with that. Yeah, well, for those of you who
Takes me back.
I know, eh? I know.
That's what, your childhood?
Yeah. No,
when Chris was a youngster.
Well, he was pretty old by then.
My first year hard time. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, actually, like the version that Matt just played, which is probably the most famous version, is by the Kingsmen. But Louie the Y actually holds a number of records. It surpassed Yesterday by John Lennon and the Beatles as the most covered song in history. So there are no exact numbers as to how many times it's been covered, but estimates say that it's over 1,500. You know, different hits.
I don't understand it. It's like when they remake bad movies to begin with, like Total Recall. I mean, that wasn't even a good movie the first time around.
I haven't even heard of the original, but go ahead.
Well, you know, like with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, it wasn't even a good. So they said we're going to take a bad movie that we put an Austrian actor who can't speak English in, and then they remade it with an Irish actor who can't speak English, Colin Farrell.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. I thought you were going to make a joke and say like Liam Neeson or something.
No, they could have. I mean, they could have put a decent actor, but they didn't. I mean, Colin Farrell's, you know.
What do you have against Colin Farrell?
He's like a thug. He's a thug turned artist. I was a tug.
What's the last thing he did? I said that was the last time I ever saw him.
Punched a guy.
Okay, just get back to the question then. All right, so anyway, on the question that I just brought up, in February 1964, an outraged parent, no name provided, wrote to Robert Kennedy, who was at the time Attorney General of the United States, alleging that this song was obscene and that it should be investigated. From what I found, I can't say conclusively, but this is the only song ever to be investigated by the FBI, or in fact by anybody under any circumstances. And after 2 years of testing, they found that they could not even understand.
How those tests work?
I don't know. Well, I think at the time it's basically just like slowing it down. They've got all whatever.
There's a lot of shag carpeting.
How slow do you
A lot of shag.
Thank you for that lovely.
I went to a Mennonite camp and they taught us.
You got to Mennonite camp from shag carpet.
No, they taught us a version of this song and it was about Moses. And they changed all the lyrics and the chorus was Pharaoh, Pharaoh, ooh, baby, let my people go. And I knew that before I knew this song. And this song came on the radio and I told my dad very proudly that this was a cover of Pharaoh.
Please tell me that was the way your mind works.
Oh, yeah.
Or even now, I mean, that would be great.
I know the jazz band at my middle school. We played it every grade 8 band ever at that middle school played Louie Louie as like the culminating experience of junior high school.
Well, that's the
Like
point.
every year we played.
It's a beautiful thing.
I know.
Well, it is beautiful because that's the point. It was and it still is a very popular song. I mean, it's ranked 54 by Rolling Stone magazine as one of the greatest songs of all time on the list of 500. And actually, there was a comedian here. I don't know. Do you guys know Ross Schaefer? I never heard of him. He has his own TV show in Seattle, I think, something like that. And he pushed to have this replace "Washington, My Home" as the national or the state song for Washington. So there was actually, it was mainly a joke, but there was a whole. It inspired like a mini referendum. There was, talked about it in the state legislature. There was all that. It was turned down, but the compromise apparently was to have Louie Louie Day. And I think about 4,000 people came out. They had about 3 different bands perform it. They had the Wailers, they had the Kingsmen, and they had Paul Revere and the Raiders, who at the time I think was led by Richard Berry, who wrote the song in the first place. And that was, I guess, really the culmination of this.
How do you celebrate that? Just by playing the song and not looking at the camera?
I don't know.
Coordinating, so everyone is looking in a different direction and everyone's except for the keyboardist.
Well,
And no one can say an intelligible word during the whole thing.
But is it Louie Louie or Louie Louie?
I was always brought up, taught it was Louie Louie. Now my mother's English, so I don't know how in tune she is with the way Americans talk.
But like it's spelled the same. Why is the second one different?
You like Louie Louie?
Okay, that's okay. Anyway, okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what we have on this. Sorry, it turns out, yeah, some great songs do in fact have great stories. Okay, now the next question we'll move to. This was actually supposed to be done in the fall. This was supposed to be part 1 of 2 QIs we were going to do this year. So this next song is, or this next question is actually fall. It's going to seem a little bit out of place, but maybe you guys know, where did turkeys come from?
The farm. Oh, it's like where geographically?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Originally?
Yes.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Mongolia.
That's
No.
weird.
I was trying to think
But
if there
you
was any.
thought about it.
Well, I was trying to think if there was any logic to that. I thought maybe
No, there's not.
No, there's not. Any other guesses?
It can't be North America, can it?
Yeah, it's actually it is North.
That's
Oh, okay.
That's actually that's
The
the
Pilgrims.
irony of it is the fact that they are in fact North American. So why do we call them Turkey if they're from North America? Because when most people, when they say Turkey, I mean, you think of the country. At least I do. So why would
Although
we
when
call
the
them?
Pilgrims came to North America, was Turkey a country? Or was it the Ottoman Empire?
Well, no,
It's just that the Ottoman Empire is not a very good name for this animal.
That is-
That's not the early pilgrims.
think
Look
Ottoman
at all the Ottoman
Senate.
empires out here.
Sounds like a lewd sexual video.
Like an Ottoman set.
I want my Ottoman Senate.
I'm sure that exists. I'm sure that video
Well, if
exists.
not, I'm
Probably
sure
does.
you will invent it in due time. But no, the fact being, well, to answer your question, I think Turkish as a nationality did exist. So
Oh, okay.
even though we didn't know it as Turkey, there was
Okay.
the culture and the people and the language was Turkish.
Sure.
But anyway, to kind of get back into it, so actually the picture on the top is not a turkey, it's a guinea fowl, which is what the Europeans first called turkey. Now they're from West Africa. They were introduced into Europe by Portuguese, I think, during colonialism, and they were called turkey because they Portuguese would turn them off to Turkish traders who would then sell them onto Europe. So the English called them turkey after the tradesmen they would buy them from. And then when North America was discovered, the actual, what we would today call turkey, was confused with the guinea fowl. So both of these are called
Very
turkey.
ugly.
Yeah, no, they are. Well,
Actually, the guinea fowl isn't bad.
But
It's got a charm to it.
really, I think it's
It's
actually.
got a nice little fat look.
Well, if you ever see like the male turkeys, like in real life, they have, some of them have like, these huge miscolored red and blue, like.
Yeah, but it's got the nice kind of like matador kind of mask going on here too.
What the top one?
It's the guinea fowl.
That kind of Nacho Libre.
Yeah. I like the look of that.
Pile driving another guinea fowl. Come here.
I'm sure that video exists.
Okay, anyway, point being, so at one time, in fact, I think for quite a while, both these birds were known as turkey. But even then, English is actually still a little bit of an anomaly in the sense. We call it turkey, well, the English first called it turkey after the traders, as I said, that first introduced the word into Europe. But most other European languages actually, their word for turkey is based on India, like based on their word from India, because when the New World was discovered, people thought they had hit the Orient. So, like
That's
for
why
example,
in French it's Dan.
or Dandon, which means
yes.
of India.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same
I
thing.
Whoa, I never made that connection.
Well, no, see
Me
that
neither.
that's why we're here. The same thing, like with Dutch, it's actually the Dutch call it the kalkoen, so the Calcutta hen. And actually, ironically, the Turkish word for turkey is Hindi, which is the Turkish word for India. So,
That's fantastic.
all right. Yes. Next question. Now, Matt, this question's a little bit biased against you, but I'm sure you'll work your way into it. So, for those of you who remember Dr. Browning, okay, why would he or why does he dislike nerds so much?
Nerds?
Nerds.
The candy or the people?
Well, you tell me.
The people.
So tell me why.
Because he taught an art side for too long?
That's an interesting idea.
We're full.
Sorry.
Art size all? We're all nerds.
Do you think so? Do you think is that a fair classification?
Yeah.
Because I mean, think. Well, how do you guys
Nothing
define a nerd? Let's start with that. What do you define as a nerd?
I'm thinking that you're gonna turn it around and be like, oh, we're talking about the Wonka candy.
No.
We're actually,
We're actually
really talking
okay.
about
I will disabuse you of that fantasy right now. We're not talking about candy.
Okay.
But I do want to know how you would define a nerd because that is relevant for where we're going.
What? It has something to do with like intelligence or like pretended intelligence.
Okay. Is there consensus with that, or does anybody have a different definition? Because actually, there is quite a long line of evolution, even though the word nerd is very new.
Yeah, but are we talking about nerds, and does that class encompass geeks and dorks?
Well, that's actually, I was waiting for somebody to mention it, because I think the way most people, including myself, would associate the word today, that we associate nerd and geeks
Yeah.
as somebody who's very intelligent and quite possibly socially awkward, blah, 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 blah. If you look it up on the dictionary, you actually look to see how the definition has evolved. The original definition of nerd, I have it here somewhere, was an intelligent but single-minded person obsessed with a non-social hobby or pursuit. So, for example, you could have a computer. So some people, all their energies went into that, and that's it. So, not so much somebody who was very intelligent, but one-dimensional.
Right.
So could you be like an athletic nerd?
I think you could.
As long as you
like,
weren't
like
social.
Olympians.
Yeah, you couldn't be social about it.
Like
Yeah,
shot
that's
putters
true.
Yeah.
are like athletic nerds.
Maybe they just
great
never call
idea.
that because if you called a shot putter an athletic
That's
nerd, you'd get
exactly.
killed with a shot.
Yeah. But anyway, the point.
You're not going like swirlies to like the Olympians, the future Olympians, like nerd, and then facing the toilet. You know what I mean? It doesn't really
Right.
know that in school.
Well, I think
That term has been associated with like smaller people.
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned school because the word nerd was actually invented by, any guesses?
Edward School.
Now remember, this is why I gave you a clue. Okay, this is where
Dr.
you're-
Browning by
yeah.
Dr. Browning?
Yeah. No, that was part of the clue.
Ah.
Dr.
So-
Seuss.
Yes.
Yes!
Ah.
There you go. Nerd actually was invented by Dr. Seuss. It first appeared in his book, I'm not sure which, but 1950, his story, If I Ran the Zoo, which is about a boy, I can't remember his name, I think it's George, he runs a zoo in the land of Contrue, or something like that, you could, well, I'm sure you can figure out what the plot is. So this actually here in the bottom right corner is the first nerd.
The first nerd.
So this is what Dr. Zeus
Well,
intended
we can all
to be.
aspire to.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. Again, that's where the issue of school comes back into it.